Okay. All right, guys. Let's get started. Welcome everybody to SLinT Public Tech Talks. And my name is Sarah Levy. I am one of the board members of SLinT, Leoneans and Technology. And today we're just going to be continuing our series of public tech talks. And we have an honored guest today. As we continue to dive into these topics, I love to bring experienced individuals who have been doing work for years and decades in the field, and we have another person that's been doing that today. So I'm introducing Professor Dr. Mohamed K. Kamara. He's another one of our brothers who's been doing a fantastic work in the field for years. So extremely excited to hear his topic today. It's definitely going to be a good one because we got some cloud naysayers in here as well. So I'm excited to see how this conversation goes. The topic at hand is going to be security crisis in cloud computing. So, this is definitely relevant, for those who have been following, news of breaches and security hazards and whatnot. And of course, we know a lot of that is related to cloud computing, but all of that, Dr. Kamara will go through. So a quick intro. You can just read and follow along. It's what's being shared on my screen. So Professor Mohamed K. Kamara, he earned his PhD in Information Technology, Security and Assurance from George Mason University, and then also in Walden Universities, where he did his dissertation and research work in 2013. MSc and a honors degree in Computer and Network Technology from Strayer, 2004. Bachelor's from, and I hope I'm saying this right.
Yeah. Stavanger
University in telecom engineering, 93. Earned his diplomas in electronics, software engineering, computer hardware technology, and networking from respectable polytechnic institutions. Dr. Kamara has over years of teaching experience, both on campus and of course online, with undergraduate and graduate degrees in comp sci, cybersecurity, information technology, and mathematics. He's currently an adjunct professor in computer science and math at Webster University since 2017. And then the University of Columbia since 2018, and a full-time professor at the University of Potomac since 2018. Dr. Kamara was also an adjunct professor at Stratford University, Graduate School of Computer and Information Sciences from 2006 to 2015. He developed the Stratford University graduate curriculum in telecom. He was the Dean of Academics for Computer Science undergraduate at American College of Commerce and Technology from 2009 to 2017. He became the head of curriculum development, University of Research Revere, UR, chairman of the Graduate Council, and presided over the accreditation committee of Accreditation Board of Engineering and Technology. In addition to his teaching experience, Dr. Kamara has several years of professional hands-on fieldwork experience, of course, in the IT industry. He worked in all levels of IT, from help desk, network admin, security coordinator to project management. He has a deep knowledge and hands-on experience in researching, developing, analyzing, and implementing new software modules using Java and hardware design. Has several awards, two of them for community building and higher education. He's also a published author of 3 books. I have one of those, which is somewhere around here. I'll grab it. The implications of internet usage in 2013, the impacts of cognitive theory on human and computer science development, 2016, and securing critical infrastructures, 2020, which I have. So, I am so honored and very thankful that Dr. Kamara is going to share his experience with us. Without further ado, I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Kamara.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And I want also to extend my gratitude of, if I can call it, people who pioneered this. And that's to Mr. Luis and Almami our boy who's following the trend we are taking, for trying to make sure Leoneans know me. I have to apologize at that point because I've been hiding from my people, not because I didn't want to show up or I didn't want to work with you guys. When I completed my PhD here in 2013, I think I made a try, I made some efforts to reach out my people to make sure they reach out to other people to know me. I cannot go to the street and sell myself and say, oh, well, you have to come here and sell yourself. I have sold myself already by achieving this, and therefore the academics recognize me. And so in America, once you have this, you don't have to hide. The school look for me. So nobody take that initiative. So except recently, Mr. Luis came up and said, hey, man, I have to make sure they don't know you home. Let me make sure people know about you. So he put me in this group. And so I was so pleased for that. Today, it's just to share, if you can, I want to share my screen and share, sir.
Yep, I'm gonna make you a host right now.
Yes.
And
And
then,
sir, could you just organize the camera, please?
oh, Dr. Kamara, your face is sort of cut off a little bit. I don't know if you can point
Yeah.
it just up a little bit.
Okay.
Uh,
Let me see here.
Yeah, perfect.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And then let me just give a quick note too for in terms of rules and engagement. If you have questions or thoughts as he's going through, Dr. Kamar is open to you asking questions. Just make sure it's pointed questions at the topic at hand. So don't be talking about, SIM technologies or developer stuff like that. Keep as focused as we can, please. And then if you can just kind of raise your hand, there's a hand raising button that you can basically click on, and it'll allow you to kind of ask your question or put it in the chat, and I'll be sure to ask it as we go through. So, all right. So I made you host, Dr. Kamar, so feel free to share your screen.
Okay. All right. So as I saying, where's the whole screen? I want to do the whole screen or just my slides. Let me do my slides. I hope everybody's seen my, can see my slides.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. So instead of having to be working with the institutions here, of course, here, this work, I'm working with 4 other individuals which are students, 3 undergrad, 2 undergrad, 1 master, and 1 doctoral student. I came up with this idea maybe a few years ago, 3 years, since the beginning of cloud computing and security. At this stage, we just started the study. We have not tested anything yet. We have not collected anything yet. The only thing I have done is to do a presentation with the International Trade Commission for this topic, because that's the patent, where you get the patent. Anytime, anything you develop in here, you have to, apart from writing just a book, but if you want to come develop a technology, you need to get a patent for that. So that is all we have obtained for this point. At this point, as you see here, the study itself is just at its beginning stage. We will look at the yes.
Doctor, can you press F5 to get us on full screen? F5.
My F5.
Yes, sir.
Hold on, I can get it. This is. I'm gonna do this.
Okay, then that's fine.
Show slides. So that's what's up to now we're holding on. The new study is looking at something we've been admiring on that. Every technology, IT technology personnel they know it admires what it shows to be what we call the three triad. And to be able to have a secured, in fact, as we go, you see that I've condemned that word security. A secured IT system or information system, you need those three fundamental components, and so-called the triad, and most of you call it CIA. Yes, they look so sound nicely, and that's what we believe, all of us. But who has come with the initiative to test this? Especially with the pop-up of cloud computing today. When we look at the concept of those three components, at this stage it's just preliminary to say they are violated. But that's why we say they are in crisis. At this point, we just say they are in crisis until we prove that thinking. And as scientists, that's the thing you do. So the guidelines we want to use, the purpose of the study is basically we want to investigate, and we want to measure, and we want to test the triad formula to hold its credibility. We say confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We look at the security aspect of it. It's not just a product. It is a linear equation. Linear equation in the sense they remain invariable. Nobody ever give us a constant. So we want every variable can be tested. So we want to test those. So how do we have to go about that? We first want to find what is the significance of this study? The significance of this study is you guys. We are doing this for you guys, you IT people, you technology people, to be aware or to know if actually what we believe is true. So once we do that, then we have a way to help the world. And so to be able to do that, we cannot do a qualitative study here. We have to use quantitative. That means it requires us some thinking, some labs, some experiments to achieve that, to achieve what we're looking at. And so how are we going to do when we do that method? We have to do the approach to collect the data we're looking for, has to be two ways, two approaches we're going to use here. The experimental approach, which has to take us to the lab, and the survey, which has to let us reach out to you guys who are working in the data centers to interview you about when you receive other people's data, what happens within the data center. You have to tell us. Once you be frank with us, then we can dig this one. And data analysis will be, we're going to have to do statistical analysis. And because we want to see the correlation between the CIA in terms of broken one. If you break one, what happens to the others? The good luck is they are variables. They are not constant, so we can manipulate them. We can measure them scientifically. And so some tools we'll be using will be Excel, simple Excel, you all know. What does Excel do? It's quantifying, especially with the survey, when we get the answers in words. This is a statistical analysis. We have to quantify those words into numbers. So that's what Excel would do for us. And so we'll use the scientific package for social sciences application, which is the SPSS. Some of you familiar with this, to really draw us some facts, tables and diagrams, and maybe some other labs instruments we may require. And then we'll have a conclusion. I just put for you here, for just some of you who may not know what SPSS mean, statistical. So that is not relevant here. So we come in to look at those components we're talking about. Components of IT security, which we say every IT security, every IT system that needs to be secure must maintain these three fundamental components. And that is the confidentiality. Anybody can answer me here. What is a confidentiality? What is confidential? If you know. When I have something, it's confidential. This is where trust comes about. Trust comes about not breaking the confidentiality. But confidentiality means privacy. Privacy means you, the owner of the data, must maintain it, must manage it. If you give it to the second, third, or whatever person, that is in danger, because you don't know what X you give it to. You reveal that information to. Who else they know? So think that they believe them as you believe them. This is a study. It's a very overlapping idea here. You have to be careful when you talk about, oh, this is confidential. And this is confidential, you tell Dr. Kamara, you don't know who I know, I don't so believe that I'm going to tell. It's going around the world. It's no more confidential. That's one. If you know what's integrity, please tell me. The data you put for 20 years, 200 gigabytes of RAM or terabytes of RAM. You come back after 200 years, it's still 200 gigabytes of RAM. It's not less, it's not high. That's nothing modified. That's the data remain the same. That's integrity. And you all know here, availability. These are the three components they sold out to develop cloud computing, to reach out the business people. And what is the business people looking for? They're looking for maximizing profit and make sure they spend less. So Bill Gates, which is always my typical example, or Amazon, tells you that they can secure your computer, they can secure your data. You had the best time you had your data was the time you had your own database within the vicinity of the company. Now, in security, we say trust is a problem. So it's what makes security does not exist. And the word, in fact, security is wrong to use it. When we say security, meaning you cannot tamper anything, but we protect or prevent data. Because when it's secure, that means nobody can hack it. And there's nothing you cannot hack. Nothing. Except somebody prove it to me today. I will learn it. To be able to maintain those three components, you have supporting one. The first thing, first pillar, is authentication. How do you authenticate? You give permission to somebody, you login ID, password. If that person is really the person that we mean, then we authorize them. But what is missing right now in security, we concern, is this: auditing. Auditing is less research on this up till now. People are not paying attention. Of course, there are software today coming in on network level. We'll do some other things, but what we call live auditing. You can allow somebody to log into your network, and once you give them login ID and password, they log in. Sometimes you just let them go. Although the system is monitoring, because the logs going to log all those things the guy is doing, so you can come back and do it. But real-time auditing is what is missing in security. So the argument here we are putting is that if we know all this definition here, great definition, which the cloud people are selling to give you an authenticate you in their network, to authorize you in their network, for you to get your data, that's for them. They maintain this for this. It's not for you anymore. So therefore, we say, what is the CIA itself, which is triad? Definitely here. An information security model that you have the three main elements. Going to analysis of the, we're going to the analysis of the formula itself. When I teach this course, any security class, sometimes we have to reach all these things and we raise up this analysis. Students will say, okay, so we have to do maths. No, it's not mathematics here. We just saying, we put this, it's not a product. It's not an OR gate. This is an OR gate. It's not an AND gate logic. These three coordinates like that, security wise. If confidentiality we are boasting of is equals to the sum of these two. But look at this, guys. You formally have your own database. You hire a guy who maintains that for you, manages for you. And so therefore, the content of your data was within your own vicinity. And now you look at it and say, hey, let me, somebody comes to you, Mr. Database, cloud computing, working in data center. The guys who build those data centers, who spend to build them, who sponsor those, they just have to hire engineers. They have to hire people. And I work there myself. That's why I challenge this. In Haiti, I had a friend here who sent me in Haiti for a brief moment where he passed away. I had to come back. So I seen what's happening. So I challenge this. That's the confidentiality of data for companies. Once you give it to a data center, I don't want to see it violated. It's in critical status. So let's assume, I'm going to the conclusion now. Let's assume this formula, violate, but we assign values to these variables. And the tendency for the confidentiality, since you give your data out, it's like 0. Guys, let's look at this formula. If you put a 0 here, 0 equals to I plus A. What happens to I and A? That is the question we're going to have to measure. That's the question we're going to find. That's the question we're going to answer. That's the question for this research. What happens to the I and J if you violate or if you mess up with your confidentiality? Thank God there are variables. If they had put it as 10 equals to 5 plus 5, it will be so hard to scientifically proven. But we will say, oh, it's correct. Or except somebody says 10 equals 7 plus 9. Then we'll say, no, we need to measure this. How come? So that's what happens here. So this is a study we're going to carry out, and we're looking for more scholars to pop up with ideas. We're looking for sponsors because we need money. And so I will conclude my presentation here and say thank you for giving me this opportunity to really present to you This is actually the third presentation I'm doing on this topic. So if you have any concern, questions, you are welcome.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Kamara.
Yes.
All right. So I will, we will open up the floor now with questions or comments. So feel free to raise your hand or to just type in the chat, or right now, since no one's really speaking, you can unmute one at a time if need be, but I prefer if you kind of raise your hand if you have a question or comment, or throw it in the chat, either or. So anyone to start off?
Oh.
All right, so I should feel free to ask your question. I see you got your hand and your thumbs up.
Yeah.
Feel free, man. Go ahead.
Oh, Dr. Kamara, thank you very much for bringing up this topic. This is a real important topic for some of us who've been in the space for a while, and more people that are in the security space. You were trying to talk about the confidentiality and privacy. There are some part that I couldn't get clearly, like how do you differentiate between confidentiality and privacy? And also, if you talk about also integrity, right?
Yes.
How do you mention your data your data integrity? If you give out your data, how do you mention whether your data has not been modified? What measures do you put in place for you to make sure that your data that you're sending out is modified, or if it's modified, what protocol do you use to detect if that data has been modified?
Well, that's for us, we are not taking anything for granted. That's why we want to measure these three variables. Let me go first answer your first question. You ask about differentiating confidentiality and privacy, right?
Yes.
What do you think is the difference there? The difference when you talk about confidentiality, maybe in a larger scale. When you talk about privacy, maybe it's the same concept you are trying to portray, but maybe on a smaller scale for sale. But so confidentiality is for us as security personnel, is something you and only you have to know, and no second person. And the same thing with privacy. This is my private thing. That's for you only, if you look at it. As for the measure of integrity, for sure, you cannot, that is the sellout here for computers, for cloud computing. The customer himself does not know if his data has remained with integrity. This is a probability here. The probability lies on the concept of you don't know if either your data has been sold to somebody because you gave it to somebody, and people are buying technologies to make business. They can go to a data center and find, let's say, for some of you who are in technology, designing technologies, you give it to a data center, and that data center has customers who buy technologies from them. What I'm saying here is now the level, the volume of the data will reduce, but it's being published out, which is reduced, which challenges the integrity of that data. Integrity remains intact when the data has never exposed to anybody. It doesn't mean that you have to add or reduce. I just mentioned it that way. Okay? I hope that answers your question.
It's interesting. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Tamba. Sorry,
Tamba,
not
yes.
on video. Yes. So this is good presentation. So my I have one a big question.
Yes.
Uh, not specifically about your presentation, but
Okay.
let's assume you're thinking security and you are a company and you are very, very security conscious, and you want to make sure that everything you do is secure. Now,
Yes.
and you have two options, and the one option is go to the cloud and use cloud services in the as of right now, and then the other option is build your own homegrown data center or server farm in-house and manage it.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in a position of power within that company and you are given these two options,
Mm-hmm.
as it is right now, which one of them will you choose, and why would you go to one as opposed to the other one from a security standpoint?
This is a bright question. And that is what we are trying to campaign here. Go back to your original being. You database existed. Database existed within the company. I mentioned it. You have it within only your company. Your company never normally hires one person to manage that. The database engineer, the database manager, database administrator manages that. But they pay them, the only thing people go to cloud is because the companies pay a lot of money to database administrators, 60, 70,000 a year. And you come to me and say, I can maintain this data for you the same way. And with security, everything, you get it everywhere you go. Those things, three things, they sell out to the people for just pay me $500 a month. That's you see, you spend 60,000, 600,000, 6,000, 6,000 a year. So that's why people rush. They do it. But what I'm saying here, the moment you take that data from your company and put it on the cloud of who? Of who? Amazon? Who? Google? Who? Microsoft? They hire people in the databases. Let's take, for example, the database is down. I mean, the data center. The data center is down. What happens to the data of the people? They just have to see it. Confidentiality, you don't have to see it when you are not the actual entity concerned about that data. So the sellout we are targeting here, we just want to bring awareness to what people say. We know CIA has existed for several years. In those days, even when people, when the network engineer asks the manager says, "Sir, we need to secure the server. We need to secure the network." Oh, please mute. I can have, so I don't have this noise. Yeah. So they ask them, "Oh, but hold on, is the server working?" You say yes. You say, "Well, why do we need to secure it?" You see, that mentality was especially when the internet came. That was better when there was no internet there, when we were having intranet and extranet. Guys, you know what I mean talking about. When we had intranet, there was confidentiality just within the company. Now, internet, you know who is targeting that database, that data center? You do sometimes you say, "Oh, I have defense in depth here. This data center, defense in depth. Nobody can hack it." We work over 24 hours. Next presentation I want to do with you guys, I want to do with you encryptions. I'll show you how people encrypt and decrypt your password. So you see, oh my God, Father, I can't do this. I have to just say yes. Okay? I would love to do that next presentation. Any other question?
That's interesting. This is more of a follow-up. If I'm hearing what you are saying correctly, if you were making this decision, you will choose to do it in-house as opposed to in the cloud.
Yes.
And the reason behind that is you believe when it's in-house, it's more secure than when it's in the cloud.
Yeah, of course. Because
Okay.
the data, you give it to cloud, you give it to the company, another company, and you give it to people who are working in that database and in that data center. Well,
here's my opinion.
Uh-huh.
Here's my opinion. You probably want to look into that a little bit more from a research standpoint, right?
Yes.
The reason why I say look into that for a research standpoint is there are reports out there that can tell you, for example, out of all the security vulnerabilities that are reported yearly, and out of all the hacks and blah 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 that are happening yearly, how much percent of those are affecting systems that are hosted in private clouds or in back office server farms versus how much of this is happening in public cloud or in hybrid clouds, right? There are numbers around this, right?
Yes.
And to the best of my knowledge, when those numbers that I've seen so far for any systems that are actually supposed to be operating online, the numbers are better for when you do it in the cloud than when you do it in-house, right? The only time I've seen report where it's better in-house is when your application is actually not online. Let's say, for example, you have your application in your back office and you are in one single building, and the only way to access that application is you have to be in that building physically. Your computer has to connect to the network in that building physically. So the chances of someone getting into your network and hacking your network or breaking into your network is slim compared to if that application is actually happening on the internet, whether it's via extranet or intranet. As long as it's going through the public network, it's much more vulnerable based on these reports than when you hand it over to cloud service providers who have certifications. Not all cloud service providers, those who have certifications to meet specific, cloud security requirements, both for government and private sector. So you can look at these reports. There are a couple of them out there. But for big companies,
I hear you. I hear you.
It's difficult to make that justification in corporate America today or in the corporate world that your data is going to be a lot more secure when you do it yourself versus when you do it in a public cloud like Amazon or Microsoft.
Okay, that's where you are mixing here. You did not understand me. Did I ever mention hacking in this talk? I didn't mention hacking.
You did not. I mentioned.
Good.
Hacking.
So hold on. Let me.
Because it has to do with security. That's why. So if I'm wrong.
Okay. You are not wrong. First of all, you mentioned that it's minimal. Then that means it's happening. That's point number one.
It's definitely.
Hold on. Let me finish. Let's talk. If we don't talk, will not make this a sense. It's happening. The second, we are talking about third party giving data to third party, which in fact I use the word now. You make me use the word violate the concept of or the theory of confidentiality. That's what I'm talking here. I'm not talking about anywhere can be hacked. I use that word. I say nothing, no security for anything. So this one you bring in is part of it. We may look at it, but hey, it's not mainly for it. We're looking at people taking their data, give it to third party, second party. Okay. Any other question?
Yeah, I just want to step in regards to first, it's better really how we have to try to get a real difference and understanding about when you're talking about the confidentiality aspect of CIA. We integrate privacy, right? So for instance, I used to manage a data set for the Naval Research Laboratory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And our data set, if you understand a little bit on cloud computing, wherein you have different cloud model that you can pick, and then based on that model, you can be able to put your data wherever you want to put your data, still try to maintain your confidentiality aspect of the data and the integrity aspect of your data.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now, so one of the puzzles that I'm still trying to figure out, once, for instance, somebody can have your data can be in a different database or in a different physical environment, wherein even the people that are controlling that physical environment, they don't have any inform on what kind of data that you have on your data based on the agreement level that you have with them, because pretty much you'll be controlling a lot of issues. Like, for instance, some of the bigger organizations, they have their data into the different cloud platforms. Therefore, even AWS, they have a different environment for the government to deal with, because they know there are sensitive data that the government is dealing with. They are putting their data there, so they have that. So in regards to somebody having information for your data, and then somebody having control over your data, because privacy gives control. You have control over everything. For instance, when I was working for the Navy, I developed the data, but I do not control real the data, because that's not my own thing. My own thing is to make sure that I maintain the data, right? Now, if we further go into try to solve this little puzzle that we have here, if somebody we have to understand that giving data to somebody does not gonna grant that person the access to have control over that data. This is what we really need to understand when we are talking about cloud computing.
No.
So that's just my little contribution.
No. Yeah, okay. It's okay. It's fine. I welcome everything, but we are now trying to teach a course here. We're not teaching anything here. You have three things we lined down there. We're just talking about confidentiality. Some of the things can crop up, which violates that formula. I'm talking about the formula. What about availability? Let's think about that. It's 100% every time. So that's the scientific thought here. We are thinking about measuring that formula to see how strong it holds the fundamental definition, the fundamental theories. We know all those things, what you're talking, yes, you don't have control over the data, but you are a third party, they give it to you. Confidentiality says, no, don't do that. They give it to your network. If they don't give it to you, they put it to your network instead of their own network. Because first of all, the terms of hacking, there is nothing you cannot hack. Even Google, they can hack them. They have what they call defense in depth. I know you know that. Defense in depth, all those stuff. Guys don't sleep. They find methods, they find ways to implement software models to breach anywhere. So be aware of that.
Dr. Kamara.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
So when you are talking and you're emphasizing confidentiality, that you restrict the data, when you create the data has to be used by third parties. So how can you restrict the data and keep them within yourself if that data cannot be accessed by third party that you're going to be working with? That is one. Number two, I would like to also give some separation between the confidentiality and integrity. Confidentiality is to make sure that data in all the three states, data in use, data on transit, and data at rest, all of them are not exposed to unauthorized persons. we have mechanisms that we put in place for access control. We have psychological way to prevent and deter people not to do the wrong things. Once those mechanisms are in place, we definitely gonna be giving the opportunity for people to be able to access this information. And that is when we roll over to the integrity side. Once these people are able to get access to that information, we have another rule that says the law of non-repudiation.
Yeah.
That says that this person cannot deny having access or having seen that information.
Okay.
They do that, they are in violation of another rule. So integrity now can be that the information that is in all these three states, states are not modified or changed. That is what integrity is there to make sure that it prevents that one. So, but based on what I'm hearing here is that we are emphasizing the fact that the information has to be protected and cannot be shared. Then how does someone benefit from the information that is not shared?
Okay, thank you. Mohamed, Mr. Musa, in the security perspective, two things you have to eliminate. One, privacy. Second, sharing. And critically, most critically, this word escaped me. So when you have data, if you want it in a perfect, all these things you guys are bringing out theoretical perspective, we are looking at a formula here and a variable formula, a variability. We are going to measure those three variables. We'll see the actual behavior, because you're talking about integrity, yes, meaning the data is not going to be this, doesn't mean that. Doesn't mean the data is reduced, doesn't mean the data is increased, doesn't mean the data, once somebody sees your data and somebody's talking about, I don't have control. Initially, when that data was sent to you, what did you do? The system installed it for themselves, put it there for itself, or you did it? That is the violation. You've seen somebody's data. Please, guys, don't bring theory here. We want to go to lab. Let's test this. Work with me, let's test this. We all see what's happening.
Yes, Dr.
I know this is a popular topic. I knew I was going to I'm going to trigger something. It's a popular topic for every person, IT person. Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
So let us look at it again from the other points that you're just mentioning. Okay. So for this data, once this data is determined to be a data that has meaning, that is going to benefit someone, then now it's information. At that point, obviously, we put processes, again, mechanism in place that allows the
okay, Mohamed, let me stop you right there. Mohamed, let me stop right there, please. You are talking about business here. You are talking about business here. We are talking, I want to talk about science. Let's scientists here. No, you are talking about, let me finish, please.
Okay.
You talk about science, you talk about business, sharing, get data, sharing with somebody. That's you want to make money with somebody else. You don't share for nothing. And that's what is the problem. That's sharing. I don't know. But that's what we will do. And I hope this study completes and we all see it. This popular topic is is very tempting to look at it in another way. But look at it in the scientific way, to the proof way. We want to prove that, yes, this holds. Any questions for that? Any, I want to, I'm sure some of you making contributions. So
Hey,
let's
Dr.
go.
Kamara, this is Thomas Kaika. I do want to piggyback off of what you just mentioned as far as focusing on the science versus the business aspect of data. Can you maybe, and one of the things I'm observing is maybe just help us all understand as far as what you're theorizing and why we shouldn't focus so much on the business aspect of it, but more so the science part.
I have no theory yet until you prove before you do theory. We have hypothesis. At this point, hypothesis. And then we do that research and prove it. The hypothesis come positive or negative, then we make the conclusion. That's why I mentioned conclusion.
Right. And so I think for me, maybe I just missed it, but what are we hypothesizing?
The only theory I intend using maybe the Utah theory. It talks about the prevention of data in IT, how the IT personnel manipulate their data. That's what I use in my research. It has 8 elements inside it. So that's the only one, the original one I want to use. But for our own theory, we have to have a conclusion. To use that theory will prove this as well. If you Google it, Utah theory, UTA 8. It will show you what it's thought about. That's the initial theory we're thinking about using. But I cannot say it's there all. Everything we put in place cannot be said here because this is a study. Somebody else can pick it.
So quick question. This is
Yes.
standby follow-up. 2 questions. One, can you summarize the hypothesis for us? That's one. And second,
man.
Why should it matter? Maybe I missed that.
No.
And why does this matter if we shouldn't be talking about it from a business standpoint? Why should I even care about this research?
Well, hey, I don't want you to care. We are doing it. I'm just presenting to you. You don't have to.
I am asking the question for you to convince me to listen as a listener or as somebody who could potentially read your research, right? Every research we do, typically we have that question, why does it matter? So what? Can you help me answer that so what question?
Yes.
So you prove this. Why?
Yes. The so what question is we're gonna have the significance of the study. We prove that. That's the so what question. Everybody, when we've done with the study, then first of all, when I'm doing a study, I'm not supposed to tell you the answer. And the hypothesis goes with the answer. And I'm studying something I don't know. That's what research, the word research means. I don't know much, everything. That's what I'm gonna find out. That's what the word research means. If I came here and just tell you, oh, this is what we do, this is what we have done, then you will bring some of these questions. Then to tell me this, to tell me this. At this point, I told you it's preliminary time. There are very little I can say about this study yet. I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm just presenting it to say this is what I'm doing. Okay?
I see. Thank you very much. So if I was in school and I was writing a dissertation, this is like me starting to discuss what topic do I want to write on. I don't even know enough yet about it.
Wonderful.
But this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking. This is what
wonderful.
I don't know what the significance is. I don't know how I'm going to do it.
Exactly.
I don't know what the answer is.
Oh, you catch me.
This is what I'm thinking about.
You catch me now. You catch me now. You catch me now. You catch me now. You catch me now.
Okay, so guys, let's stay away from the business and the significance.
Don't bring business.
Dr. Kamara, thank you very much. This is a really good discussion, and I really enjoy the topics. because this is something that some of us have been on it for almost
Yeah.
2-3 years. So this is a good. So I really want to appreciate you for challenging this thing.
Yeah.
We make sure that whatever you are coming out with, it's in line with the business model that we are coming from.
Hey, I need you. I need you guys. You know, I need you.
So thank you very
As
much.
we go, your part will come. But we have to prove something first before I say, oh, hey, guys, come back. We will come back for some day and say, hey, this is what is happening. What's happening? We need money. We go.
Yeah. So
don't be surprised for all
once
these
you do your
questions.
research, once you try to deep dive into CIA relay, then you will try to come to whatever puzzle you try to solve. Because the most important thing for you really to try to deep into the CIA.
Yes, sir.
And then you'll be able to solve your puzzle.
Yeah, and
we'll be here as a resource whenever you need help. We'll be here.
Oh, let me clap for you. Thank you. That's what I want to hear.
Sure.
Thank you so much. That's what I want to hear. And please, I want to see if somebody is interested. I want to know your number, your name. So as we go along, we'll be in touch. Yes.
This is good. This is good. Sorry, we didn't catch the essence of it at the beginning, and we started asking questions, thinking about it from a business standpoint and an application standpoint.
I know.
So.
Even yes, it's okay. It's okay. We teach doctoral students. That's the concern they have. They ask all kinds of questions. So I'm not talking about masters who are coming. Some of them are directors in their workplace. You come and talk something nonsense to them, they will question you. I'm used to this stuff. Don't worry. I just want to work with you guys, and I want to make this a Sierra Leone research, not American research. Trust me. This time, let Sierra Leone say Sierra Leone does this.
Hey, Dr. Kamara, one other question. In terms of your research, are you going to consider, I guess, well, again, to Tamba's summary there, as far as you're still pondering what topic you want to talk about, are you going to consider maybe like defining the data down to the specific type of data and maybe generating that data, the processes involved in that, and you mentioned confidentiality.
Correct. Exactly. That's why we need to reach out. Some of you who are working in the data centers, the people or the corporate, we will reach them. I will reach them.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I might be interested in, as far as generating the data. Now, it's not going to be at the comp sci level. I could come in more so from
oh man, you see, now I get somebody. So I'm gonna put you in my tool. Definitely, we have to give you your information. That's what I want. I want people, anywhere I present this, at least I'll get one person when they understand me later. It's always the case. There are many questions come on this topic because it's so popular that people don't see any reason to research on this. Some people. Well, I've never had anybody deny it, but I just look at it that way. And what I'm trying to do, I want to first complete the first article on this, and while people reading about it, and just the preliminary stuff, and then while we do the research.
Yeah, Dr. Kamara, this is Mr. Lewis here. Just the last
Mr. Lewis.
Point. Thank you for your presentation. I guess initially we were looking at it with much of a business lens. I guess you were taking it beyond the business lens to say, let's go back to look at these call it theories or findings in more absolute terms, in terms of like just because the data is equal to the same 200 megabyte that you store does not mean that that data has not been compromised.
Right.
I guess you're trying to look for ways to actually validate a lot of the assumptions around the securing of that data in terms of the confidentiality of that data.
For sure.
So I guess that opens up a different perspective that helps to give it more of a research angle that I think Samba helped to clarify this last point.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
You're welcome.
So it's so nice to have you guys. Really, we don't know how much I'm happy to talk to my own people. And I didn't know how many Sierra Leoneans, really talented Sierra Leoneans around me. And we all wasted. Thank you, Mr. Luis, for really bringing me to my people. I was too far.
Thank you for coming too, and let's stay in touch.
Yes.
Just by the way, most of us we are not wasted. We just don't happen to have a space yet in Sierra Leone to operate. A conducive or an adequate place for us to operate. We don't have that, but we're not wasted. A lot of people in this group are involved in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
Either they are doing business from a private sector some point, or they are doing business from a non-profit standpoint.
Okay.
Or some of them are doing business from a personal standpoint.
Right.
Not everyone is able to make that move to go and sit down and say, let me operate a company in Sierra Leone, or let me even work for a company in Sierra Leone or government, because the money some of them make here, they cannot justify even the government paying them that kind of money in Sierra Leone when you look at the poverty around. So we just don't have the environment to operate for the most part. And when we get that environment to operate, you might see a lot of people in the group going back to Sierra Leone and working there. And we have some, like Ali is in Sierra Leone right now. He's working on some important projects that are affecting government and people, Sierra Leonean citizens on a day-to-day basis. So,
yeah, Almami is bringing me to Sierra Leone very soon, because I'm working. I'm working with the university, with FBC right now, developing the computer science curriculum. And
you should go, definitely.
Yes.
I will encourage you, if you can reach out also to Jala University or IPAM.
Yeah,
from a computer science standpoint, Jala University is light years ahead of Robe College.
That's what Dr. Samba told me. Yes. So I'm developing the curriculum. When I'm finished,
I can put you in touch with the ICT directorate after this call. He's actually in the group. Actually, Songo is in that group. I will just bring it up in the group so you guys can connect. And he's the ICT directorate at Jala. He's within the group.
Right now, I'm working with FBC, and I finished the curriculum. I'll send it to Mr. Luis. And Mr. Luis will put it on the group. So you guys look at it. You have any contribution before we send it? I want to do it that way. Before we send it, put it in the group, Mr. Luis, and let's have input within. Now I'm going to work with everybody here. Everybody. From now on. If I have a new study, that's what I do. I find new studies. I will call you this time. How are we going to put this together? So let's work together, guys. That's the only way we can help back home. I cannot do it alone. I cannot. First of all, the computer science is going to open with many, many specializations with many subjects. I cannot teach everything. So you guys have to come home and help. And people in this group, what I hear today, oh my God, it gives me confidence to really go back home to my people. I never had this company. This is the first time I'm staying in a group for so long, and I'm not going. Because what I'm seeing in the group, very, very disciplined. And today I hear from you guys live. It's not just about this presentation. It's about me. You guys know me, my people. I left Sierra Leone 24 years old. Today I'm 61. Can you imagine? And how many times I've been in Sierra Leone? Twice. Doing all my work there, but I didn't know many Sierra Leoneans. So a few of you discover me and bring me home. That is the appreciation I hold for you.
And I hope you have a lot of patience.
Oh,
for that long, you're gonna need a lot of patience.
Oh yeah. What's in this glass?
A lot of cool water, a lot of ice.
Yeah, you're working with young scientists, and we're gonna be challenging your theory.
I know that.
Forget about us. We are not gonna be anything. We are nothing. I'm talking about
home.
The people in Sierra Leone.
Yes, I know.
If you've been away for that long, you need a lot of ice. You need a lot of ice to cool that heart, because it's gonna be very difficult for most people to connect and say, okay, what you are saying makes sense. I'm gonna accept it.
That's true.
Just get ready for this is how it's done in Sierra Leone.
Right.
But it can be done if you persevere and
plus you guys back up now.
And be ready to change to some extent sometimes and adapt
to
their ways, the ways that it's done in Sierra Leone. I think it can work.
Okay. Well, I'll have you around. I'll be asking for advice, I'm not going to take the whole Sierra Leone. I just want to take the computer science department.
Ali is the boss. Ali is the one in Sierra Leone right now. Ali Bangura.
Okay.
Don't disappear.
Ali Bangura.
Hey, that's gonna allow me beach.
Mr. Bangura.
You don't take 1 year. You don't take 1 year plus the work day. So I believe you don't have to don't cool 551 now.
All right, guys. This is
thank you very much.
For me. It's good talk. I really look at it that way. Your presence alone motivates me a lot.
All right, so Dr. Kamara, before you go, one last question for the curriculum. How much of computer? I know you're focusing on computer side, but I guess how much of a computer engineering curriculum do they have there, and are you going to incorporate that? Just I guess from my own personal.
Yes, I know, my brother. It's a long walk. It's a long road, a long way, but we have to have some place to start.
Okay.
Right now, I'm just putting the basics for undergrad, and I was asking Dr. Samba as to whether Sierra Leone for master's program. You say right now, because it does not have master's program. I say what? So that's the best school in those days, the best university in those schools in West Africa does not have a master. And what even holds FBC up to this time without doctoral programs? Too many years. Here, we open schools here 2, 3, 4, 5 years. We have doctors. Right now, we have doctors with Potomac, University of Potomac. It's all about. But the question I have is, who is going to teach all these courses if we want to do proper computer science program? Who is going to teach? Then we have to bring you guys. We have to bring you guys, definitely. We have to.
It's a big question to answer. It's going to be a very big question to answer.
Yeah.
If they can accept, I will tell you, you will get a lot of people to teach if they will allow remote teaching.
Oh.
If they don't allow remote teaching and they want everybody to be in a physical classroom, it's going to be very difficult. Jala University is going through that today. They don't have that many teachers. In fact, most of their students who just will complete their program are the ones they end up hiring again as faculty. So as a result, the programs are there, they exist, but they are not solid because most of the teachers may not even have enough experience. The few teachers who have experience are not, they cannot do everything.
Yeah, that's what I challenged that already with Dr. Samba. I asked them, so the thing is, you train teachers, they get their masters, and you let them teach and get their masters. I said, that is one thing. He said, yes, we know that. So we have to help. We have to help. We would help the best we can. I know this is a challenge and I'm ready for it. As long if I die, the legacy will be there. But I want to do it.
It's good.
It's not about the money. In America here, you whatever you do for them, you are a foreigner. That's the one thing. I want to go home where they find me as part of the community. So well, yes, yeah, we talk about sorry, on that line of virtual teaching. We already mentioned Dr. Samba said that's what in fact they want me to start doing that before I go home, because I told them I cannot come this year, maybe give me 2 years more to prepare. I have 5 kids here, and the last one is still 9, it's still 12. So we talk about it. We will. I gave the assignment to Almami. I don't know if Almami will give us any. Well, today is not the good time for that. To make sure we have that opportunity, and the platform we already recommended a model.
His hand is actually raised. Almani, you can unmute and ask your question.
Yeah. So like I think with the problem out here, as for Kamara earlier mentioned that folks at Fabric College they don't want to adapt to new change, because I have had a lot of conversation with some senior folks at the university. I would normally suggested a lot of ideas on how we can improve our way of lecturing, our way of teaching our colleagues, but it seems like these old folks just like to use the old method that they went through.
The chalk
to pass on information, because we are having a rapid evolvement of new with the technology, and as with the Professor Kamara earlier mentioned that we want to use the module with the platform to see how best we can be uploading their notes, lectures, videos, and other stuff. But because I think in 2019 I started to use the module platform, which is very, very good and very, very effective. And it's a great platform that folks out here can use to see how best we can do with virtual teaching. But when it comes to folks that are lecturing at Fabric College, they want to do things the archaic way. They don't want to grow, and I have a lot of hiccups with some of my lecturers. This is not the way that the world is moving. We don't just need to confine ourselves into the classroom. We need to explore ideas on how we can bring in some robust way to see how best we can enhance with the way of how you guys are with the lecturing. But it seems like this old folder doesn't want to adapt to the new change, and it is very, very bad for us. And wow. As earlier mentioned that you still have staff at Fabric College or in with the government of Sierra Leone that are still messengers. You still have messengers to be with delivering letters here and there. Why can't we switch to emails? Why can't we just sit down in the office, send an email, okay, acknowledge it, then let's.
So I just posted a link. Sorry, I just posted a link when you talk about Moodle. So Jala University are using Moodle for their online learning management system.
Okay.
So like I said, if you connect with them, technically, if you come to some agreement with them, you can technically start like right now, because that platform has been on for almost 2 years.
You posted
and it's ready to upload content. I just posted the link in the chat.
Okay. Can you send it to my email?
Yes. I think
Almami, send it to my email.
I've copied it and I will forward it. I will forward it to your mail. Okay, sir. Okay. So I think
thank you.
We have Sal here, we have with the Tamba, we have Ami. These are with the executives of SLinT. So I think We have a lot of role. We have a lot of role to play out here in Sierra Leone to enhance that the technology is fully utilized to its full potential, because we are still talking about technology, but we don't want to go at the back end of technology to see how best we can use it to solve our problem. We are just using solutions. So I think that's all I have.
Okay. All right. We start to see the challenge here. Sir, do you have anything for us?
Sorry, I was multitasking up here, but no, I just want to say thank you again for this talk. Like you mentioned before, you were going to get a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So this is good discussion. I'm definitely hoping that we have a follow-up behind this. And I want to thank everyone for asking your questions and being part of this discussion today. But most of all, I want to thank you, Dr. Kamara, for taking the time out on a Saturday with your wife to come here. I didn't get to acknowledge. I want to acknowledge that Ms. Jayati is here as well. So thank you, Ma, for showing up here.
That is the mama. That's the mama. She makes me this way. She makes me this way I am.
So we definitely appreciate you lending your husband on a Saturday to us. So thank you for this conversation again. The link to this recording will be provided within a week or two. We'll post it to our YouTube page and then also try to upload it on our website.
Wow, good. Yeah, let's see how we can get people from YouTube too. Okay, this was fine. It's good to have all of you. Can I leave now?
Thank you, Mr. Kamara.
Yes, sir. Who is this?
Alhaji Mohamed.
Musa, you are always trouble.
Musa,
thank you, doctor.
Musa, I nominate you. I nominate you to
thank you, doctor.
Okay, sir.
Professor Musa, I nominate you to be the next presenter.
Yeah, exactly. We want to hear from you.
Okay. So, sir, take notes.
Thank you, guys.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. The next, I don't know when, but we'll find time to make a slot. Let's start to learn Leoneans encryptions. We have so many methods, so many techniques to decrypt and encrypt data.
Yeah, I think that'll definitely be a good talk.
Yeah,
I'll definitely schedule some time with you.
And this is not talking; we do it. It's not talking; we're doing it. It's modular math. So,
in regards to that, can we start making it on Facebook Live for the presenters? If you guys are possible for that,
fine. Oh, I'm worldwide. I will talk everywhere on that. It's okay.
Take note.
Abdullah, now you doing? That's our time pass no more. How you doing? Yeah, but I'm definitely open to that as long as the presenter's open to it. Yeah, I'm open to that for sure. So, but all right, don't want to hold you guys up for.
I'm sorry, guys. This is I'm sorry to just cut in there. I'm driving. I was listening. This is Dr. Kamara's wife. I'm really pleased to hear all you guys have to say, and I'm really, really happy that he's in this group, and the way you guys have welcomed him, and it's really just gratifying to us as a family, and we do really appreciate you all. And I have a green light now. I have to go, so I'm just thanking you all for bringing him into this group. Okay, all right, guys.
Yes, the Mamina Power Ma.
Yeah, all right. Okay, bye. Bye, guys.
That's it, Mama.
Love you all. Bye. Bye, guys.
Okay, bye.
That is Mama. That's Mama. That's Mama.
Okay. Thank you all. I'm gonna end the session now. We really appreciate it.
Okay.
So last bit. If anyone's actually interested in being a speaker, contact me or Alimani as well, and then we'll get you on the board to present.
I second Tamba for Musa to be the next speaker.
Good.
nice one.
Yes,
Musa would push you under the rug now.
I go left the business side. I bring the scientific Questions?
And you go find Musa if he can touch on the cybercrime bill. Remember, so we're not going to waste them all night and get home in the review.
Right. This brother, what's your name?
Me? Tamba.
Yes.
Tamba, I mean.
Samba or Tamba?
Tamba.
Tamba. Okay, Tamba. Okay. Yeah. Please, let's stay together. Let's stay together, guys.
No problem.
That big fight they go begin. So I need your backup. I need your backup, please.
Mofuna Bobo Pinden now. No problem.
I see that. Okay.
We'll
guys.
try our best to make it happen. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye.
Have a good rest of the day.
Okay.
So how big your schedule is from now to November?
Me?
No, sir.
Oh, okay.
So the next speaker, if we don't have anyone, I can do something on cyber. But then after that, we have our famous board member Thomas. He has a great talk in October as well on basically hardware implementing. But if you're interested in something,
I'll send something. I'll try to send something to you, but put something for me in the calendar for say probably mid-November. I want to do it in person while I'm in Freetown, if possible.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Do that.
That's why I've been staying away from doing any online. I expect to be there around November. So once I finalize that, I'll let you know. But you can lock me in for mid-November.
Tama, when you're in town, please let me know.
I will.
Yeah, I may want to use you there. Sorry, not the word to use, pa away.
All right, guys. Get ready.
Okay, take care.
Yeah,
Bye.
take care.